Whoa, what's going on? Welcome, world. Hey, we finally jumping off the porch. I'm super excited. We got the Cover 2 Fantasy Podcast jumping off. Hey, before we get into it, we want y'all to follow us on Instagram at the Hustle Sports Network. And then follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Cover 2 Fantasy. I'm your host, T. Will. Tonight, I'm joined by with my co-host, Fantasy Ray Ray. What's going on with you?
What up? What up? What up? I'm glad we finally can get it started.
Finally got it started. We've been talking about it for years, for a minute. So we finally able to jump in here. Before we get in there, hey, look, it's Friday night. Waivers behind us. We saw the Thursday night game last night. So we're gonna just, tonight we're gonna talk about value, player value swings, matchup previews, picks of the week. We're gonna try to, we got a full show. We're gonna try to jump into a few things. So to start us off, though, I want to get your opinion or your thoughts on the Thursday night game last night. I've been seeing on social media they dubbed it as the Unk Bowl 2025.
Definitely what it was.
Yeah, the Unk Bowl.
I think my first thought is what a game. Like I'm thinking, Pittsburgh, they've been eking out some wins with Rodgers, and we know he ain't got it like he used to have it. And then, me being a Browns fan, we traded Flacco. I actually started the Steelers defense thinking that he would go out there and play bad. And he killed it. He killed it. Chase went crazy, 23 targets, 38 fantasy points. T. Higgins killed it. I mean, if you had anybody on the Bengals worth a thing in fantasy, you got a good jump on your week.
You excited. You excited. So to recap on them stats, Flacco was 31 of 47, 342 yards, 3 TDs. Chase had
Right.
16 catches. I know, right? 161 yards. He had one touchdown. On Pittsburgh side, Aaron Rodgers had 249 yards, 4 TDs, 2 interceptions. He was 23 or 34. And then Jalen Warren had a bounce back game. He had 16 rushes for 127 yards. So I'm sure, them fantasy managers who got any of them probably feeling real good.
Yeah, if you went zero back, you real excited about what Jalen Warren did. And then you mentioned the stats that Flacco put up and 16 catches for Chase. I don't know if he had 16 catches with Joe Burrow.
Saying this
That's
season
period.
or
Has he ever
period,
had a game with 16 catches
yeah, we'll have to
or
research
20
that one.
targets? I mean, it's just, welcome to fantasy. That's just fantasy for you.
Gotta love fantasy. Gotta love
Could it,
fantasy.
it was a guy in Cleveland, one of their writers, and he was like, there was no chance for the Browns to win the game. That the Steelers was going. I mean, the Browns. I'll take that back. For the Bengals to win the game with Flacco, he said if the Bengals won, he would get his nipples pierced. And yeah, and today people was calling for him to get his nipples pierced. So that's how crazy of a game that was.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I don't want no update on that follow through. If he got them nipples pierced for sure. So to
But
kind of wrap it up, what's your thoughts on? I mean, you kind of said it earlier that if you had one of them players, fantasy relevant after that, that's the biggest takeaway to you? Like that's what stood out to you?
well, now my biggest takeaway is if you got anybody from the Bengals, you was crying a week ago with Jake Brown, and you was probably looking to sell any of those players, and now you feel a complete opposite. Now you want to hold them players, and really, all of them are fantasy relevant until Joe Burrow come back. I mean, even when he come back. So rest of the
Yeah,
season, whatever reason you took Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, or T Higgins, you feeling validated. You feeling like
yeah,
okay, it was worth it where I took them.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, that was crazy. That was shocking too. Because I think, you know, given the fact that he just got traded there, this is his second game in 4 days,
10 days
five
ago.
days. Yeah, so he ain't even. He probably don't even know them that well unless he played with some of them before or whatever. But for him to come out in a prime time spot, I mean, it's Flacco. He ain't new to the show. So, but nah, I
You
ain't gonna
know,
lie. I thought he was cooked.
that they make quarterback out to be, you got to be the smartest person on the field. You got to be, a genius to be an elite quarterback. But sometimes it's simple. You got the best receiver in the league, just throwing the ball.
Just throw him the ball.
Just throwing the
Yeah, just
ball.
keep it simple. Keep it simple,
You know,
stupid,
Jake
or keep it
Jake
stupid
Brown.
simple.
Yeah, Jake Browning might still have a job if he just threw him the ball.
Hey, and I know we gonna keep it fantasy relevant, but just real quick, I thought Browning was straight when he came in last. What was that last season when he
Mm,
replaced Burrow? Yeah, he looked like he
Might have
was
been two
straight.
seasons ago.
Okay, so 2 seasons ago when he stepped in, he looked like he could have been straight, and then this year he was awful, and then Flacco come in and save him.
Yeah, yeah. But Flacco a vet. He been doing it a while. And every time in his career, he'd have had a number one, whether it was Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, you name it, he's balled with a
Yeah,
number one receiver.
yeah, yeah. And you throwing it back with some of them fantasy guys right there. Yeah, like we gonna pivot though to the waiver recap. Like I said, it's Friday, so yeah, all the waivers that went in this week. People that made their plays. Uh, give us some of your gems and some of your traps this week that was on the waiver wire.
uh, Kamani Vidal, gotta look at him. He just had too big of a week to where if he's still out there, you gotta have him on your roster. That's one. I still like Michael Carter. I
Mm,
know Bam Knight got the touchdown, but Michael Carter's still super involved. You know, if he came out and had, you know, 15 to 18 touches and a touchdown, would you be shocked?
nah.
So and then if we talking trap players, while I love him, Harold Fannin is a huge trap player this week.
Mm,
Njoku hurt, so I definitely think he needs to be rostered. But have you heard the weather conditions in Miami this weekend?
okay.
Pouring,
Nah, I ain't
raining.
him.
Yes, supposed to be pouring, raining, up to 25 miles per hour winds. It ain't gonna be much throwing in
Yeah.
that game. And if you are throwing, you got Dylan Gabriel throwing the ball. If you start Harold Fannin this week, you're probably going to end up with a dud.
All right. So yeah. So that's a trap. That's a trap. Harold Fanning. Did you? I heard you talk about Michael Carter. Why you like him, and you like Vidal because of the volume.
Yeah, the pass catching as well. So, he's gonna get some pass catching work, which is always great for PPR, and just share opportunities. I've heard some people out there say that they think that he's a trap, that they think that if Harbaugh went back to Haskins, that that they wouldn't be surprised. But I just think if you see that kind of production coming from a player, how you not go back to him the next week?
Yeah. Yeah. I almost fell for that Haskins trap 2 weeks ago on my waiver. I don't know. It was weird though because I kind of dropped him. I ain't really have a lot of information on why I dropped him. I just wasn't feeling it. I feel like a lot of people I saw who was talking about Haskins, they excuse me, they love the fact that he was a Michigan guy and he played for
Hmm.
Harbaugh. But other than that, it wasn't really no topic on his skill set on what he could offer to, what I'm saying, to the Chargers for it to be fantasy relevant. So I wasn't really feeling that.
Yeah, I think he's just one of them backs that it's kind of solid everywhere. He's not a great runner. He's not a
Yeah.
great pass catcher, but he pass block pretty good. He runs pretty decent. He catches pretty decent. So it always be a role for a player like that, kind of like that Sam Perrin kind of
Mm-hmm.
role. So for him to think, oh, he gonna come out there and get 20 carries or 20 touches, I don't think that's gonna happen. Could he play enough for it to be annoying? Absolutely.
And what does that look like if he annoying? What you saying? Like 10, 11 catches? I mean, not catches, rushes maybe.
Yeah, 10, 11 carries. My dog getting 10 or so carries, and they both just kind of have meh days. 8
Yeah,
fantasy points, 5 fantasy points. They've been throwing the ball a lot this year. So if they lean that route, then you're looking at a dud out of both of them.
yeah,
So, but I do think that pass catching ability that he got is it keep him fantasy viable, at least in the flex.
yeah. It's funny on my waiver recaps. My GM's Kamani Vidal was one of my guys too. Indianapolis got the 12th ranked run defense. Why it ain't the worst? It ain't the best. Uh, Haskins actually popped up on the injury report today, so he questionable for Sunday. So we'll see how that go.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
even more love for Vidal.
right. Even if he don't have a great day, just the fact that, I mean, Naeem Hines got signed, but, are you really confident that Naeem Hines going to eat into that role? Now, he might be a third down back, but I don't know if he going to take touches away from Vidal.
And he's just looking at a mess of a committee at that point.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do have
Nah,
one more sleeper to throw out there,
go ahead.
and it's a quarterback.
All right.
You know him, you love him. Buckeye CJ Stroud. Got a Monday night game. They playing Seattle. Seattle D, while it's a great defense, it's been leaky. And Stroud coming off back to back games where he's throwing for multiple touchdowns and no interceptions. And before the bye, he had 4 touchdowns, no interception. So, he's hot. Look like he getting back to his rookie form, possibly. He getting some chemistry with those receivers, with Higgins, with Kirsten Kirk. They offense been looking good. So I
Yeah.
think Jay Stroud this week is one that you can really pop in there and possibly get a 20-point week out of him. Um, he's only 60% rostered in ESPN leagues. So, while a good amount of people have him, there's also a lot of people that don't. So that's somebody I like as a streaming option off the waiver.
Okay. All right, cool. That's interesting. I ain't gonna lie. I drafted Stroud. Uh, so I definitely like Stroud. So yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see how he perform in Seattle. Seattle, a tough place to play. But I mean, if we seen anybody who showed up in big moments, it's been Stroud for sure.
Might be a reason for me to go grab him, being that me and you in that same league.
Hey, listen, you can have Adam. You can have Adam. You ain't got no fight from me. No fight from me. All right, so we're gonna pivot to the matchup start sits. We got a couple people this week. I know you grabbed them in our league. You was first to get them, before the news even broke on Chuba. Carolina versus the New York Jets. The question that everybody want to know, we know Rico got a role, but do you start him or do you sit him this coming week against the Jets?
I'm taking a bold stance. Start Rico Dotto.
Start him.
So apparently Dave Canales has settled on who gonna start and who gonna get a bulk of the carries, but he refused to say. Typical coach speak kind of thing for that drive fantasy managers crazy, but we got 2 eyes. We got common sense. Rico looked like a top 5 running back the last 2 weeks.
Can't buy that.
Explosive, elusive, strong. He catching out the backfield in a way that we never seen Chuba catch. Um, yeah, you smash Rico. Until he show you otherwise, I think he got to be in your lineup.
Yeah, I agree 100%. 100%. No argument. I don't think there's no way you could bottle that back up.
Nah, Genie out the box.
Yeah, he out the bottom. We saw it with Dallas last year. He with Carolina. We see it again. He is starting back. You know what I'm saying? Play
Starting
the
back.
man. Play the man. So the consensus, we definitely agree on Rico.
Mhm.
So we got some news out of LA for the London game for the Rams versus Jaguars in London. Puka out this week. Uh,
Mhm.
I feel like this is an easy one. I think I know what you're gonna say, but I gotta ask it anyway. Uh, the Jaguars got the 29th ranked pass defense. So Devontae Adams, you starting or you sitting? And it, and
Yeah.
and if you start him, is he a smash or is he gonna boom or he gonna bust?
What's bigger than boom? The nuclear bomb. Nuclear bomb. We know what Matthew Stafford do with receivers. You take Pook out the way, he might have 20 targets this week.
Yeah.
So you gotta play him. He still look good, still look like he in his prime. Yeah, you smash that. Pause.
So 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 I gotta ask though. Because we saw how ugly the Jets in Denver was overseas last weekend. We
Slop.
saw how low scoring Pittsburgh and Minnesota was a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
Cleveland was just over there too, right?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, all right. Well, for the Browns fans out there, unfortunately, no, it don't matter where they at though. But that's neither here nor there. You know what I mean?
Oh
That's neither
man.
here nor there. So do the location, do the location of the game. Do that scare you at all with Devontae and Matthew Stafford?
No, I mean I've heard a lot of complaints about how poor the field is over there, how poor the playing conditions are. But we've seen people score points over there. Pittsburgh was able to score over there. So yeah, nothing's making me
Yeah.
hesitate on Devontae Adams.
All right.
Let something happen with Matthew Stafford. I ain't worried about it. You start him.
All right. Devontae Adams smash start. You heard it from Fantasy Ray Ray right here. All right. So the next matchup, the New England Patriots versus the Tennessee Titans. This one's interesting to me because Alec Ayamana slated to be the wide receiver one coming into this weekend. Calvin Ridley was ruled out for Sunday today. So what's your thoughts on that? Do you start Alec Ayamana or do you sit him?
Start. It's the breakout week.
This the
It's the
breakout week. You
breakout week.
calling it.
We've been hyping him up every week. Is pick him up, put him in the flex, whatever. This is the week. This the breakout week. I think this the week that he go out and he have 20 fantasy points this week.
Okay. 20. So
20.
so what we looking at? What we looking at? 680 and a tutty? What we looking at? What's
Yes,
the stats
sir.
you think?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's
I
it
like
on
that.
the
I
nose.
like that. On the
Okay.
nose. I like that.
All right. All right. So
Yeah,
we're gonna be on
they
the lookout
literally
for
ain't
that
got
one.
nobody else to throw to. So,
Yeah, they don't. They don't. And I
Tajay Spears might get a lot of catches.
and I think Cam Ward, I know people want to say he ain't all that, and we've had this talk before that, they piece is not elite, his weapons that he get to. But I think, with rookie quarterbacks, as the year go on, you could
They
tell
get
when the
better.
game started to slow down for him. So
Hmm.
maybe this the one. He got a challenge against the Patriots. It's a good defense, so we're gonna see. Uh so this next one, the Giants versus Denver. I think everybody who watch football like these players. Cam Scatterboo, Jackson Dart. I think everybody who watching
Let's
it, we
go.
like the energy they bring.
Yeah.
But we know what Denver's about. We know they got a solid defense. And if I'm not mistaken, they in Denver. So they have the 4 or 5 Eastern game. So they the late afternoon game. Do you start or do you sit Jackson Dart and or Cam Scatterboo?
So I think Scottaboo is a start. Um, the volume is there. He's gonna get the goal line opportunities. So I think you gotta start him. Jackson Dart, I'm not so sure.
Okay.
One of the biggest things helping Jackson Dart is the running. He running, he scrambling, he getting touchdowns, he dropping his shoulder, and that's cool. I love it. But Denver's allowing the least amount of yards to scrambling quarterbacks. Justin
Mm.
Fields, who's leading everybody by a mile, only had 34 yards running. If you can lock up Justin Fields, I feel pretty confident that you can contain Jackson Dart. Now the caveat to that is Jackson Dart can throw. So maybe that opened it up for him a little bit. Um, but I'd say I would probably sit Jackson Dart and
Mm.
start Scatterbo. But it depends on what you got at quarterback. You know, if
Okay.
you streaming quarterbacks, then I would throw the dart at dart, pun intended. Uh, I would throw the dart at dart just for the rushing upside. You know, if you do get loose, we know he can scramble for a TD. But if you got a legit quarterback, don't let the hype get to you. Set him on the bench this week.
I ain't gonna lie. What I like about Dart, he will take off on you in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as soon
Yeah,
as a play breakdown, he gone.
we know it's a premium on running quarterbacks.
Hey, listen, it's funny because I like Fields, but I wouldn't have got him in fantasy. But looking at him, it changed my thinking on running quarterbacks when they considering if they fantasy relevant or not.
Well, I drafted Fields, so you know what I think about running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I now let him go because Fields is gonna get you 25 plus, or he gonna get you less than 10, and I ain't got the stomach for that. But yeah, if you got a running quarterback, it's just an advantage. It's just what it is.
All right. So for New York, you heard it. Scatterboo is a start. Jackson Dart is a sit. Denver's giving up the least amount of rushing yards to running quarterbacks. So do with that what you will. So I got a question for you. We talked about the Rams. We mentioned that Puka's out. Given that he's out and Ridley's out and these wide receivers on the injury report, who would you rather start at wide receiver one this week? Now, there's anybody in the league, anybody that's fantasy relevant. Who's your guy that you would go with this week, given injuries?
Well, one guy already played, so that's that takes him off the board. Um, I like BTJ this week.
Okay.
I
Against
like
the
BTJ
Rams.
this week against the
Oh,
Rams.
okay.
I think the Rams still gonna be able to put up points, especially coming off a week where they didn't really have to. I think they're gonna score, and Jacksonville gonna have to score to beat them. And we see the chemistry with Trevor Lawrence and BTJ ticking up. The targets are there. Now he's starting to connect a little bit. But we still ain't seen the real breakout. We got a little teaser last week. They had the touchdown waved off because Travis Hunter was offsides. But if you told me BTJ had 100 yards and 2 TDs this week, I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. All right. BTJ. Jacksonville against the Rams. Again, that's the London game, the 9:30 Eastern game. So that's Fantasy Ray Ray's start at wide receiver one this week. Uh, which wide receiver matchup looks the worst given their matchup this week and why?
Mm, mm. I gotta say, as for as amazing of a year as he has, that he's having, I'm gonna say JSN.
JSN. Okay. Why is that?
Yeah, he got to see Stingley, who's arguably the best corner in the league, if not the second best corner in the league, next to Surtain. And that defense is just a beast. It's a
Yeah.
beast. Number one pass defense in the NFL. So I love me some Sam Darnold. That's my guy. JSN is looking all world, but this the test this week. Is Darnold gonna come back down like people think? And is JSN legit like we think? So this this
Yeah.
this will be the test, but JSN is the one where I'm like, you have to play him because he's JSN, but I'd be a little worried this week.
Well, as a JSN manager, hey, he not coming out the lineup unless they say, hey, he not playing. So if he get locked up, he get locked up. But I'm living with it. I'm living with it.
Yeah. And I don't see
I'm
him
a,
getting locked up. It might be a little compressed though.
all right, yeah, I can live with that. Hey, Lord, if he get a tutty in there, we good. You know.
Yeah.
My matchup, I ain't gonna lie, for the worst this week, you touched on it earlier with the conditions of the game. I got Jalen Waddle against Cleveland. Fourth,
Like that.
yeah, fourth ranked pass defense versus wide receivers. So Cleveland, they stout. Even though, they had troubles on the offensive side of the ball, that don't stop the defense from showing up every week. So yeah, conditions, top five deep pass defense. I got Jalen Waddle this week on who matchup looked the worst. So on the go ahead.
Oh
On
no,
the flip,
that's a great one. That's a great one with Waddle. Cleveland got big corners too, so that's gonna be a tough
yeah,
matchup.
yeah. So on the flip side of that, whose matchup is the best and why?
Mm, the best matchup. I would probably go with CD.
Off injury, fresh off injury.
Be healthy enough to play CD.
Still
Um, and,
CD.
and Washington ain't been shutting nobody down. So
Yeah.
if they wouldn't have had the fluky call against the Bears, Roma Dunze would have had a pretty good day. So yeah, I think
Yeah, my bad. My bad. Hey,
unacceptable.
hey,
Unacceptable.
listen, that's the thing about doing a pod from the house when you got kids. They yelling like they the only ones in here. But hey, we gonna work through it though. It ain't stopping that. You know what I mean? We gonna keep it
Nah, it's
going.
fine. It's cool. It's cool. But yeah,
Uh
I like CD. I don't think they got nobody that can match up with him and what Pickens has been doing while he been out, you can't even double him. And if you get a
yeah.
CD that you can't double, good luck.
Not to mention Ferguson been balling too.
Number one tight end in fantasy. Yeah, it's just a
Hey,
lot. It's a lot.
ain't that's crazy? Hey, every
Yeah,
year
yeah.
in the leagues we play in, Ferguson be available, and every year he like top five.
I feel like until this year, it really been sneaky. Because he hadn't been scoring.
Yeah,
So you have catches or whatever, and you're like, okay, cool. Well, this year he scored. And
yeah.
that's just putting him in a whole nother league at that point because now he's getting the volume and he's getting the touchdowns, and so it's just making him elite. And so, the biggest winner of all this is people who have that,
Mm-hmm.
who
Mm.
hit our waiver wire, and I looked at him and second guessed it, and somebody beat me to him.
Hey, you gotta grab that. Live with the results. Gotta grab that. Gotta grab that.
Yeah.
Uh, pivot real quick. One matchup I'm looking at that's the best. I think I actually like Rasheed Rice against the Raiders. I actually like the Chiefs receivers against the Raiders. Now that might be a cop out, not picking nobody. Either it's Hollywood, Rasheed Rice, Xavier Worthy, whoever you got in fantasy. I like all of them against the Raiders. They got the 19th pass defense. Gino, as we seen, I like Gino. I'm a fan of Gino, but he give it up. He gonna turn the ball over, and I think in
Whoa,
Kansas
hey,
City,
yo,
turn the
pause.
ball up. Oh, give it up. Oh, all right. I ain't even
Hey,
catch
yo.
it. I ain't even catch it. Give it up. Yeah, I ain't even catch it. That's me. That's me. But yeah. Nah, I think he turned the ball over a lot. Oh, is that a pause too? Or we good there? We good
we
there?
good. We
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah, he turned it over. So he gonna give the Chiefs their
Pause.
opportunities.
Pause. That ain't good.
Turn it over? No, that's crazy.
It's a
He not
little
a
wild, but we gonna roll
uh,
with it. We got to we
he
got to
not
be
a
professional a little bit.
he's a below average protector of the football.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Kansas City gonna get their chances. They're gonna, they're gonna get their opportunities for sure. But me personally, if I was to bet on any one of them, uh, I like Rasheed Rice. I think, coming off injury, well, not injury, off suspension, excuse me. Coming out of suspension, yeah, I think the Chiefs historically have shown that they try to bring you along slowly. But he been there, he familiar with the system. He got a rapport with everybody. So I like Rasheed Rice this weekend.
Yeah, this one of the things that I'm most excited to see this week is, everybody got Rasheed Rice as a wide receiver one, Lockett, top five maybe, and for good reason. But man, this receiving core is way better than what it's been the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You got a healthy Hollywood, Thornton looking amazing.
Yeah.
Even Juju has been a good contributor
Yeah.
this year. Now that he's playing uh third, fourth, really fourth role because we got Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
So how does that look now that Pat Mahomes not just locked in on dumping it down to Rasheed Rice and letting them run? You know what I mean? Now it's getting spread around. I think, do they put Rasheed Rice on the outside like a true number one? Is he the slot? Is Worthy the slot? You got Thornton who been your deep field threat. So, just what does that look like? I'm super interested to see because it's a lot of implications for the people who've been holding Rasheed Rice for all these weeks,
Yeah.
expecting to jump back in there with a wide receiver one.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna be keeping an eye on that one. Definitely a close eye on that one. So we're gonna move now. We're gonna keep it moving to our under the shell picks of the week. So now it's time we give one player who's under the radar or under the shell, as the title stated, who can swing a matchup in your favor. One pick, gotta give your reason and why.
Okay. Okay. One player. I'm gonna go Devon A. Chain.
Okay. Interesting.
Devon A. Chain.
Really?
Um, yep, because in those kind of conditions,
Yeah.
you're talking about running the ball a lot. Well, short pass game might be there for you. And you got Devon A. Chain in those kind of conditions where you're already a hard player to contain. You can see him getting in the open field and it's just lights out. This could be one of
Yeah.
them vintage rookie year A chain games where he housing stuff 70 yards. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, hey, they're not gonna be able to push the ball down the field. And we know what Cleveland's pass defense looked like. But the run game, as stout as it can be, A chain one of them players that all it takes is a play. Any play could be the play that he taking it to the house. And with the embarrassment that Cleveland been going through, the stuff the players been saying, they might be a little checked out. So I love A Chain. I think of anybody from this entire game balls out. I do think Quinshawn can ball out if Cleveland don't call 52 run plays, 52 pass plays. But 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 I like A Chain. I think A Chain could be have one of them weeks where he win your matchup.
Okay. All right. That's an interesting one. I ain't gonna lie, I think you would go that way. But it makes sense. Conditions, old school run game,
Mm-hmm.
it's in favor of the running back. So I definitely could see that. Even if it's, yards per carry not good, the touches should be there given,
Yep.
the
Yep.
conditions of the game. I ain't gonna lie, my under the shell pick this week is Matthew Golden.
Woo.
So over the last 3 weeks,
Oh. Okay.
I know. I over the last 3 weeks, he's gotten at least 5 targets. His usage is going up. His fantasy points, I believe, but at least according to our league and PPR, it's 10, 13, 11. Like he's very low end double digits. but his usage has been trending upward over the last few weeks. They had to buy it last week before they faced off against Cincinnati. And they got, I believe, Arizona. Arizona, I think they got a solid defense, but I think they got a defense that a wide receiver can eat on. So, yeah, that's my under the shell pick of the week, who I feel like could definitely swing a matchup in your favor.
I'm going to actually pivot on mine.
All right, let's go.
Just in the spirit of under the shell. A-Chain, while I do love that pick, I think people might be sleeping on it because of the matchup and the weather. He's not really an under the shell kind of player.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pivot to Kayshon Boutte.
Against Tennessee.
Kayshon Boutte. Yep. Drake May, in the words of the ancient philosopher Soldier Boy, Drake. Drake May, man, he balling. And we'd have seen this before, this kind of chemistry that he got with Boutte. He coming off 2 TDs. They going up against a pass defense that started the year strong, but ain't looked strong the last few weeks. So I think Boutte, he's leading that team in touchdowns out of the receivers. So if you look for somebody to throw in that flex that could potentially go out there and score a couple, I like Kayshon Boutte.
Okay. I ain't gonna lie. I like his game too. He look like he one of the ones if he can get consistent opportunities.
LSU product.
That's why I'm gonna go on record and say that's wide receiver you personally. I know Ohio State fans gonna have something to say about that.
Yeah, I think Ohio State is wide receiver you, but it's a good argument. It's a good debate.
Our guy just got 16 and 161 last night. Just throwing that out
there. True. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But as a JSN manager, hey, we appreciate you.
You just got this one this week, That's all.
All right. Hey, we're gonna keep our eyes out, see who really holding it down.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So we're gonna pivot to a bold prediction for week 7. So who is your bold prediction of who going off? You ready to book it?
Well, I just kind of brought him up, so I'll bring him up again. Drake
May.
Drake May. I'm calling 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns from Drake May.
And all right, why are you so sure he gonna go off?
Well, number one, he's just been playing lights out.
Yeah.
Lights out football, looking like a baby Josh Allen. But then the other thing too is you just got a beat and battered Tennessee team. They just fired their coach. They're not winning no games. I'm expecting a swag. I'm expecting them to go and get mopped up by the Patriots.
He's sitting by the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a wrap.
They laugh. They telling jokes. Yeah.
Oh no,
this a Drake. This a Drake May boom game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What we getting into after the game type feel.
I mean, right now he's at least in our league. He's ranked, and our scoring is a little different. So give me a second. Let me pull this up. I just want to nail this down. So Drake May currently sitting at fantasy quarterback 5. This is a top 5 fantasy quarterback. I think this week you can see him enter that top 3 spot for fantasy.
The elites of the elite. Okay.
Yeah, that's my bold prediction.
All right. Well, we're gonna keep our eyes on that. Hey, that's Drake May, the New England Patriots against Tennessee Titans. They in Tennessee in Nashville. That game's an early game, 1:00 Eastern. My bold prediction for week 7. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. He been quiet here all season. Jameson Williams against Tampa Bay Monday night.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Tampa
We
Bay. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. They got the 11th ranked total defense, but they pass defense is 27th. I think we know what Amon-Ra gonna do. Like he is who he is.
Mhm.
Gibbs, Montgomery, Detroit loaded. We all know that. But I think coming into the year, everybody thought Jameson Williams was gonna go crazy. You know what I'm saying? And he shown games where he Jameson Williams. We've seen what he can do. But I think in
Mhm.
the prime time slot, against another top team, you know, and he's seeing, Tampa Bay kind of banged up on both sides of the ball. So that's my bold prediction for the week. And I'm gonna go. If I had to put anything on it, I'm gonna go 7 catches. At least 7 catches, 80
Ooh,
yards, a
7
touchdown.
catches.
Yeah. So what's that? That put
Okay.
him at in a PPR. That put him at 21 for the game. 7 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown, a tutty. I'm gonna book
All
that
right.
one. Definitely gonna
Book
book
it.
that one.
Book it.
All right. So we late to the show. We got it. We had our Q&A segment. It's
Okay.
funny, you actually answered one of the questions about A-Chan against Cleveland. Why is he a must start or do you bench him? You said he a must start given the
Mhm.
conditions. You like him in that one. You kind of talked about the wide receiver who's a strong pivot at a wide receiver with injuries. If you can give us someone different than who you said earlier, who would it be?
Um Now you went with Waddle, correct?
He was my guy who was gonna have the worst game this week because he was against Cleveland. But like a pivot,
I'm
who
I'm
you would start. Let's you know what
I'm a,
let's
I'm a,
nail it
I'm
down.
I'm gonna go with somebody different.
Okay,
I'm gonna go with Chris Olave. Chris
the Saints got
Olave.
Chicago. Okay,
Yep. In 5 of the 6 games that Chris Olave done played in, he's got over 10 plus targets in 5 of 6 games. At some point, that gotta hit. Week one, 13 targets. Week two, 10 targets. Week three, 14 targets. Week five, 11. Week six, 10. That's an insane amount of targets over the course of the season. So if I had to pivot, I'm rolling with Chris Olave to hit pay dirt this week. A lot of targets. I'm gonna put him down for 7 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown.
mm, I like
Chris
that one.
Olave this week.
That's interesting. 10 targets. That's crazy.
That's
That
a lot of targets.
and it's funny, bro. I stayed away from Saints players in the draft. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was a rebuild year for us. I thought Rattler wasn't like that. And then as the year go on, we see he really like he getting there.
I
He
mean, at
getting
least
there.
at least in Olave's case, he's still wide receiver 22 on the season. So he's the top 25 wide receiver thus far, and he's only scored 1 touchdown this year.
You gotta go with the numbers.
Volume is king.
Hey, well, I'm gonna answer that question, and I'm gonna actually stay in that game. Boom or bust. Uh, I like Shaheed. I do like Shaheed.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also like Luther Burden. I've been seeing some reports on DJ Moore. He got hurt in the Washington
hmm
game, so his status up in the air. I haven't seen anything official as of yet that he gonna play. I like Luther Burden. I like the usage. I mean, he ain't getting a ton of usage over the course of the year, but I think as the weeks go on, his usage starting to go up. The Saints defense is okay. I like Luther Burden. He a boom or bust for sure, but I like Luther Burden.
It's gonna be the first place we part. I do not like Luther Burden.
You ain't feeling it. You ain't
I, I
feeling it.
I mean, so far to this point in the season, it's more hype than anything. I mean, he got the one big game off of flea flickers type deal, trick play, where he had a big play, but I'm not really seeing, you know, they're not game planning a lot of stuff for him. Caleb not looking for him at a high clip. And don't get me wrong, I think talent is there. I saw him at Mizzou, so I know he can play. Um, but I'm like, what's really drawing you there outside of Hopium and the fact that DJ Moore not playing?
But
you
like I
know?
say, he got big play potential. The Saints got the 16th ranked pass D. Uh, like I say, his snap counts going up over the course of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you say, his catches, his stats don't really support that. So I guess this is one of the ones that you early on. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I but
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think this the week that if you're gonna take that risk, if you can afford to take that risk, I like him. Like I say, the Saints defense pretty mid. His use is going up. No DJ Moore. He got good big play potential. So yeah, I mean, he boom or bust for sure. I ain't gonna lie. It ain't you praying, you put him in the lineup, you praying he do something. But
Yep.
if he do something, you're gonna be crying tears of joy.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
All right, so we talking about management, roster management.
Okay.
If you had to trade somebody, and I know you just done a big trade in our league. If you had to trade somebody, or you wanted somebody, you was looking at it, you had to trade for them. Who would be a trade target for you?
A trade target.
Yeah.
Um, T. Higgins. T. Higgins will be a trade target for me. One thing I believe on Flacco is they're just so good, and he's a veteran. He gonna be able to get him the ball. I think Chase value is just out of there. It's out of this stratosphere. You can't get him. Um, Chase Brown may be another one, but I'm looking at that Bengals offense. It's one that they struggled all year, so people still, if you're a manager, you kind of like, man, I hope they can keep it up. But if you looking to possibly swing a trade on somebody who's ticking up with a manager that might be willing to say, hey, I don't know if this real. Let me get off of them while I can. I think T. Higgins is one that could probably get that value back of where you drafted him at, and somebody might be able to might be looking to sell high.
Okay. What's your thoughts on Lad McConkey? Would he be a trade
Oh
target for
boy,
you?
for me, no. But I get the appeal. Had a great week last week. He kind of been getting on track a little bit lately. But we've also seen QJ kind of tail off a little bit. The same with Keenan Allen, and I think that's probably what you're looking at all season. A little bit of lag here, but then he's going to regress, and one of these other guys are going to kind of haven't had eight games. And so to me, with Ladd, I think he definitely should be rostered. He's gonna have his good weeks, but I don't think the consistency is gonna be there for me to trade anything of value for him. I think you better off streaming guys like Kendrick Bourne, something
Mm-hmm.
like that, where you can get some good weeks. Josh Downs, you can get some good weeks out of guys like that, and not have to really give up nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, that's true. I'm looking here. I'm trying to think because I don't know. It seems like we kind of at that point of season where people kind of be scared to make a trade. You know.
Yeah, yeah. If you making trades at this point, not to say you shouldn't be making trades, but a lot of the people that's looking to make trades are the people that ain't happy with their record right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You either sitting pretty and you like, yeah, I like my team right now, or you like, man, I need to I need to make a move or
Yeah.
it's over. So um, those people going, and then you got the people that's 500 that's like, hey. I done got some wins, but I really don't love what I have, or a trade could take me from being in the middle of the pack to being at the top of the pack. So that's kind of what you're looking at. Um, but I think the best thing to do right now is just like you mentioned with Ladd, me with T. Higgins. Look at the players who riding hot and just kind of determine if you think they're gonna be able to hold it or not. And if you think they're able to hold it, take advantage of somebody who think they probably can't.
Yeah, yeah. I ain't gonna lie. One target I would like to get, or I would like if I was in that position to have to, get somebody. I like Pittman. Downs ruled out this week. Who knows how long he's gonna be out? I think Pittman. I like Pittman. I'm a fan of Pittman. Now,
Yeah.
I think with Daniel Jones, him being in a new system, I know Warren, the guy, especially in that red zone. Jonathan Taylor he had a crazy year right now. But I like Pittman. I think Pittman, as sure as they come, you could pencil him in for 10 to 15 every week.
Except for last week. As
All right. All
as a
right.
Pittman manager,
Well, well,
I'm like, okay, all
that's why we use pencil though. Just in case. Just in case. Yeah.
right.
But
my, my only thing with Pittman is I'm still not in love with the volume.
yeah.
He's consistent. He's gonna get 5 to 6 catches a game, but they're not really using them downfield like they did in the past. A lot of this stuff is short and immediate. So a lot of his best games have come off goal line scores. In the red zone where they can hit him in that area, he can use his big body. But if he don't get that, then you're probably looking for 6 catches, 50 yards. You know,
See, and
so
I'm cool with that. If you give me 11, I feel like hey, you gave me a shot. You know what I mean? You give me 11, I feel like you definitely gave me a shot.
and
So
I'm
we
not mad at it, but let me see what he had last week. So last week he finished with 2 catches on 3 targets for 20 yards.
he
It's
had hold on,
tough.
2 catches, 3 targets, 23 yards.
Yep.
So
Yep.
4.3. Yeah, that ain't good.
And
That was
then
against Arizona too, huh?
yep. Yep. Now
Yeah.
he has had a week where he's gotten 10 targets from Danny Dimes. So I just think it's a lot of fluctuation there. Yeah, so I like Pittman too. I mean, I rostered him. Obviously, I like him. I targeted him in the draft. But I think he's more of a flex, a strong flex, than he
Yeah.
is a wide receiver too.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that. 11, yeah, you more in that flex range. Then you might
Yeah,
do
you have a
good, you
wide
might
receiver
not.
one type
Yeah.
week, but
Yeah.
you gotta be ready for the other side too.
Yeah, yeah. Now I feel that. So with that being, we gonna pivot to the other side of the ball. You a defense streamer. You don't lock in defenses on your roster.
I try not to. Honestly, I found I had the most success when I stream. At least this season for sure. Every time I've maintained a defense from one week to the next, even when the matchup was good. This week I came in with the Steelers defense. I had them last week; they did good. I brought them in this week thinking, hey, Flacco. He only been there 10 days. We got all these names in the secondary for the Steelers, and they got me -4. And I'm kind of like, man, it would have been nice to have that matchup on, have that Panthers defense um against the Jets. you know, Maybe Justin Fields go out there and get me
hey,
45 yards.
hey. Well, because
So
it's the Panthers, he'll get 65, but you know they'll
yeah,
give up a
yeah.
little more. So with that being said, what defense? Oh, that would be the defense, Carolina. If you didn't go with Pittsburgh, that what you
Yep,
saying,
that yep,
Carolina.
that would be Carolina would be the
Yeah.
defense. That's my defensive pick of the week.
Okay.
Going up against Justin Fields, who, it's been a lot of talk this year about, Aaron Glenn telling the media they're gonna be bitching. Excuse my language. I don't want to curse on the pod, but him with that, and then he came out today and talked
I
about
saw
how,
that.
yeah, I mean, Lamar
Justin.
Jackson and
Uh,
Josh Allen hold the ball just as long as Fields. And I saw the numbers. He's right. He's right. He right in there with those guys. I think the thing that he missing is they have a cerebral approach to the game. When they holding the ball, they're in full control. I think when Justin's holding the ball, he just don't know what to do with it. And so
from a
I think
yeah,
that's the difference. Lamar gonna hold the ball until somebody to a window opens up, and then it's a big play. Same with Josh Allen versus when Justin Fields holding the ball at least 9 sacks. So I think that's my thing. So I like the Panthers this week. I think they're gonna try to be more aggressive with Fields and get the ball out of his hands quicker, make him throw more, which is probably gonna limit his running a little bit this week, and we'll see what Fields show up. He got no picks, and we know no quarterback goes through the season with no picks. So if we're gonna try to air it out this week, we might see some interceptions.
at least that's the plus with Justin Fields, right? That he taking care of the ball. Like, it's ugly.
He taking care of it too much.
Yeah, it's ugly, but he taking
Yeah.
care of the ball. I think
Yeah, keep it away.
you at least giving yourself a chance to right the ship if you take care of the ball. So we'll see.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
Carolina,
the way I kind of see it is he keeping it away from the other team, but he also not giving it to his own team.
keeping it away from his team too. Yeah. So I feel you. So Carolina, the defense, the stream from Fantasy Ray. I like New England against Tennessee for kind of the same reasons you said earlier. I think that one gonna be over pretty early. No, really, I like Pollard. I think Pollard's solid. Tajay Spears, I know they working him back in. But I just think Tennessee, with them firing their coach this week, they going through too much transition at the time that they playing the Patriots. So yeah, I like the Patriots to stream. I like their defense to stream. I actually got them in one of our leagues, so definitely starting them this week for sure. So last question out of the Q&A: which underperforming player are you betting on to bounce back this week?
My boy, Ramondre Stevenson.
Ramondre Stevenson. No.
Ramondre Stevenson.
No.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson scores a touchdown this week. Runs for 50+ yards this week.
A tutty and 50?
50 and a tutty.
No fumbles. He taking care of the ball this week.
No fumbles this week.
Hey, I hope Ramondre do shake back. You know what I'm saying? We definitely seen him do his thing at some points in his career. Yeah, so we rooting for Ramondre to shake back against Tennessee. I don't know. Ray called it.
he coming off a 1 point week. You can't do too much worse than that. So.
Yeah, you can only go up from there. No, that's facts. Yeah, so Ramondre is Fantasy Ray's bounce back player this week. I don't know if this foul is kind of a cheat code, I guess. I'm gonna go Saquon.
Nah, that's foul. I mean, he's been significantly underperforming where you drafted him.
Right. He first round talent. He really like top 3 pick talent.
Mm-hmm.
I think in our league he went 1.
Yeah.
So and we know he liked it. I don't know what it is with Philly. It seemed like they go through this the last couple of years. This kind of their MO, a little beef in the locker room.
Yeah.
The first year it went against them with DeAndre Swift. Then last year they got Saquon and they went through this and then they go run off and go win the Super Bowl. So this week, I think because of the experience, they got Minnesota. They play in Minnesota. I just Saquon. I had him on my team a couple years ago. I'm just a Saquon believer. I think he bounced back against them. So we'll see. We'll see what he's talking about. I think they got the They at the early game too, Minnesota 1 o'clock Eastern. So that was the last of the questions. Excuse me. For the last segment here in the last few minutes, the too high lock pick of the week. Nah, I don't know if you had time for yours, so I'll give you a little time to check yours out. I'll throw mine out there first. I like JCM, Ja'Cory Croskett married.
You kind of had a you kind of had a little breakage there. I didn't hear the question.
Oh, I was saying the too high lock pick of the week. Like somebody you guarantee gonna go crazy this week. That's kind of on the underrated side and kind of similar to our segment earlier. Uh, I like JCM. I like Ja'Cory Croskett married. He playing Dallas. They got the 29th ranked rushing defense. They giving up 142 yards a game. Washington look like, they want to go to him. I don't know if I guess he the lead back now at this point. They still work McNichols and Rodriguez in, but I think JCM gonna go crazy this week. He had what I think 111 2 weeks ago. He had 61 yards against Chicago on Monday night. So I'm expecting him to bounce back against a porous Dallas Cowboys defense.
That's a good word for that defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. JCM make me a little nervous, but it's Dallas. So you look at what Rico did to him. If JCM can do half that, it's a great week. So normally on a normal week he might make me a little nervous, but this week, yeah, I think he'll smash play.
All right. Cool.
So
well, you heard. Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
that was your lock. That was your lock.
That's not my lock, but I agree with you.
Oh, you agree with that lock. All right. Who your lock? My fault. That's my fault.
No, you good. I like Rashard White. They going up against Detroit. I'm expecting that to be a shootout. I mean, we might see 80 points hit the scoreboard in that game. And so I just think Rashard White is going to be heavily involved in the run game, in the pass game. I expect a big day out of him.
Hey, I hope you're right, because I'm a Bucky manager. We know Bucky hurt, so I had to scoop Rashard White. And we chugging along. I think we 500 since Bucky went down. So yeah, we need them Rashard White points. So we need that. Yeah. All right, so that's the last segment, the too high lock pick of the week. You heard it. I had JCM, Fantasy Ray came with Rashard White. That's gonna, do it. This the last. We're gonna close out. It's the very first episode of the Cover 2 Fantasy Podcast presented by the Hustle Sports Network. I think we had a decent show. We had a good show. I feel like, like we talked about this for years, like I've been saying, like I said, and when we opened the show, we've been talking about it. So to finally jump off, I'm excited, about what we can do.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. So Sunday gonna be crazy for all the followers, the watchers out there. Sunday gonna be crazy. Keep your alerts up. Trust your preparation. Stay ready. If you got value from tonight's show, hit subscribe on YouTube. Like and subscribe us. Follow us on Instagram at the Hustle Sports Network, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, as Cover 2 Fantasy. We're going to be live tweeting Sunday morning during the Rams and Jacksonville game for injury updates, late scratches, inactives, some sleeper picks. With that being said, we signing off. I'm your host, T. Will. This is my boy, Fantasy Ray. We appreciate y'all checking in.
Have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too.